There's a moment right before everything changes, and most people miss it completely. It doesn't look dramatic. There's no background music. No big announcement. Just a quiet shift, almost invisible. And yet, that moment is the exact point where your life begins to skyrocket. Right now, you might feel like you're stuck. Like you're putting in effort, but nothing is moving. You wake up, you try, you push a little, and then the day ends exactly the same. No breakthrough. No visible progress. Just repetition. But here's the part no one tells you. The life you want doesn't begin when things finally change outside. It begins the second something shifts inside you. Pause for a second. Think about this. Have you ever noticed how two people can be in the exact same situation, same job, same environment, same opportunities, but one slowly builds a powerful life, and the other stays exactly where they are? The difference isn't luck. It's not intelligence either. It's a quiet internal decision that most people never even realize they're making. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You stop waiting, and you start becoming. Imagine this. You're sitting in a room late at night. Your phone is in your hand. You've already scrolled for an hour. You feel that slight emptiness, not pain, just a subtle dissatisfaction. You could keep scrolling. Or you could put the phone down and do something small but meaningful. Most people scroll. A few don't. That tiny decision. That's where trajectories split. Or think about this. You're at work. You've done what's required. No one is watching. No one expects more. You could coast. Or you could give just a little extra attention, a little more intention, a little more care. Most people coast. A few don't. And those few, over time, become unrecognizable from who they used to be. Not because they made one massive leap, but because they kept choosing differently in small, invisible moments. Here's the insight that changes everything. Your life doesn't skyrocket because of one big event. It skyrockets because your baseline standard quietly rises. Not dramatically. Not loudly. But consistently. You stop asking, what do I feel like doing? And you start asking, who am I becoming through this action? Feel the difference. One is temporary. The other is identity. And identity is what compounds. Let's reframe something important. You don't need more motivation. You need a different relationship with action. Because motivation is unpredictable. Some days it's there, some days it disappears. But identity-based action, that's stable. Imagine someone who sees themselves as disciplined. They don't wake up asking if they feel like being disciplined. They just act, because that's who they are. Now imagine someone who sees themselves as inconsistent. Even if they try to act disciplined, there's resistance. Because their actions are fighting their identity. So here's the shift. You don't build a better life by forcing better actions. You build it by upgrading the version of you that those actions come from. And this is where things start accelerating. Because once your identity shifts, everything becomes lighter. Decisions become easier. Consistency becomes natural. Progress becomes inevitable. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Picture someone who decides, quietly, that they are no longer someone who quits easily. Nothing changes immediately. The same challenges show up. The same discomfort. The same doubts. But now, when things get hard, they don't interpret it as a sign to stop. They interpret it as part of the process. That one shift changes everything. Or imagine someone who decides they are someone who takes care of their future self. Now when they're tired, they don't just think about the present moment. They think about the version of them that will exist tomorrow, next month, next year. And suddenly, small actions feel meaningful. Drinking water matters. Sleeping on time matters. Learning something new matters. Because it's no longer about today. It's about who they're becoming. Now let's bring this back to you. Your life is about to skyrocket, not because something magical is about to happen, but because you're starting to see the game differently. You're starting to understand that the real leverage isn't outside. It's internal. It's in the way you interpret moments. It's in the way you respond to discomfort. It's in the way you define yourself, quietly, repeatedly. Here's something powerful. Every time you follow through on something small, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming. Every time you don't, you cast a different vote. And over time, those votes create your identity. Not your intentions. Not your goals. Your repeated actions. So the question isn't, what should I do to succeed? The question is, what would the version of me who is already successful do right now? And then, you do that. Even if it's small. Especially if it's small. Because small actions are where identity is built. Let's ground this even more. Imagine you want to improve your life financially. You don't suddenly become rich overnight. But you can become someone who respects money. Someone who tracks it. Someone who thinks before spending. Someone who looks for opportunities instead of excuses. That identity, over time, creates financial growth. Or imagine you want better mental clarity. You don't suddenly eliminate all stress. But you can become someone who creates space. Someone who pauses before reacting. Someone who chooses what to focus on. That identity, over time, creates peace. And here's the part most people miss. The process doesn't feel like a skyrocket in the beginning. It feels slow. Almost too simple. But then, something interesting happens. Momentum builds. Decisions stack. Confidence grows. And one day, you look back, and you realize you're not the same person anymore. That's the moment it feels like everything accelerated. But in reality, it was always building. Quietly. Consistently. Under the surface. So here's your practical shift. Start noticing your micro-decisions. Not the big ones. The small ones. When you feel resistance, pause. Don't react automatically. Ask yourself, what would the version of me I respect do here? Then do that. Not perfectly. Just honestly. And repeat it. Again. And again. And again. Another shift. Reduce the gap between knowing and doing. You already know more than enough. You don't need more information. You need more alignment. If you know something is good for you, do it. Even in a small way. Because action creates clarity. Not the other way around. And one more. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. There will always be noise. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be reasons to delay. But the people whose lives skyrocket don't eliminate uncertainty. They move with it. Calmly. Consistently. Without drama. Now pause again. Take a breath. Think about your life, honestly. Not where you wish you were. Not where you think you should be. But where you are. And then ask yourself, what is one small decision I can make differently today that aligns with the person I want to become? Not 10 things. Just one. Because one, repeated consistently, is enough to change everything. And here's the truth. Your life isn't waiting to skyrocket someday in the future. It's already in motion. Right now. In this moment. Through the way you think. Through the way you choose. Through the way you act, when no one is watching. So don't wait for a sign. This is it. A quiet realization. A subtle shift. A different way of moving forward. And if you follow it, patiently, consistently, honestly, you won't need to chase a better life. You'll build one. And one day, without even realizing when it happened, you'll look around. And everything will be different. Not because of luck. Not because of timing. But because you changed, first. Pause slightly. And that's how everything else follows. For voice delivery, slow down slightly in the opening lines to create curiosity, then gradually build a calm confidence in the middle sections. Add small pauses after key questions to let the viewer reflect. Keep the tone conversational, like you're speaking directly to one person, not an audience. For visuals, use quiet, relatable scenes, late-night phone scrolling, empty streets, soft morning light, someone working alone, small daily actions like writing, walking, organizing. Avoid dramatic transitions, keep it smooth and grounded to match the internal transformation theme. You can vary future uploads by shifting the core micro-scenes. One version can focus more on work life, another on personal habits, another on emotional control, while keeping the same identity shift backbone to maintain originality and consistency.